to Coronavirus, The Rundown. I'm Chris Stewart. Each day, we showcase how American communities are taking on coronavirus. And today, we're starting with some of the positives coming out of this pandemic. Christian Benavides introducing us to a landlord who is canceling rent for a few months.
You could call David Plasek the most understanding landlord in Montclair, New Jersey. In these unprecedented times, you could also call him a hero.
Candidly, there's still stress today about all the unknowns. How long is this going to last? What does it look like on the other side? When am I going to get my job back? Is my job going to be there on the other side of all this? Why not just eliminate all of that stress if you can? I think that's what it came down to, is more why not rather than why would we.
In the middle of the coronavirus crisis, the father of three who owns a number of properties in Montclair has canceled rent for all his tenants for 3 months. Back in March, seeing the impact the coronavirus had, he wrote, "We hope to reduce your stress and anxiety by waiving all rent due for the months of April and May." Since the email, he's now extended the reprieve through June. Rent is now due July 1st.
They were excited. One of them said this was the nicest gesture. I haven't checked the mailbox because I'm, a little bit hesitant to go to the post office to, see if anyone paid the rent that, they didn't need to pay. But I think, those who responded to me were really, really appreciative of the gesture.
Governor Phil Murphy was also appreciative of the gesture.
Now, certainly not every landlord is in a position to do the same. We get that. But David exemplifies the spirit we need to see right now of people stepping up to make sure others can come out of this emergency stronger.
This is what it's all about, right? It's making other people happy is what everybody should be striving to do.
Christian, thank you. Now, that landlord will forego about $50,000 in rent. He says that he hopes other landlords are inspired to help their tenants however they can. Now, in Michigan, a landlord is only charging his tenants $1 this month. He says it's just the right thing to do. He hopes the tenants will help prop up local businesses with whatever they can. And a widow is using one of her most cherished memories to help others right now. Elizabeth Carpenter lives near Buffalo, New York. Her husband, Bill, died more than 2 years ago after hitting a deer while driving his motorcycle. And that was a week after they had celebrated their 12th wedding anniversary.
I didn't know what grief was until I went through that. And I hung on to his shirts, at least 8 of them. I couldn't part with them. I don't know why.
She says that those shirts brought her comfort. They were Bill's uniforms for almost 10 years while he was a corrections officer. Elizabeth heard that local correction officers didn't have masks, so she decided it was time to put those shirts to serve a bigger purpose.
He would be happy, and he'd give me a big hug and tell me he loved me like he did the night before he died. The corrections officers have been great to me and when I needed them since Bill died, and I just thought I could pay them back.
Each mask comes with a wallet-sized picture of Bill. After her first delivery of masks, 70 of them, Elizabeth says that it felt like she was dropping off a piece of Bill with his friends. Now, 2 women from Ohio created a resource anyone in their community can use to find the help that they need. Jordan Vandenberg shows us the new community hub.
Our world has changed in a month's time. Places closed, crowds gone, streets are empty. But social distancing does not have to be so distant.
I think we just provide that sort of rapid response that a lot of people need right now.
Janie Lee and Chrissy Stonebreaker Martinez both co-founded the Cleveland Pandemic Response, or CPR, a mutual aid group trying to connect people together. The mission is simple: match need with charity.
I think this is a moment in time where we realize we do really want the same thing for everybody, and this is a way to provide it.
It's really like a two-way street where this is all mutual and reciprocal, and we're hoping people are as generous as they are able to receive.
To help in the effort, they created an online portal where people can post their specific needs, get connected with volunteers and local organizations. It is a one-stop shop for resources, especially vital for those in underserved communities.
There was one person who got one of their utilities paid by a generous person because they were compelled by their story.
The co-founders hope more nonprofits sign on and more volunteers sign up, eventually creating a community that continues long after the pandemic is over.
I really believe that it definitely does take a village, not just to raise each other up, but to really thrive, to survive and thrive.
And a man from Central Texas is helping people by cutting their grass for free. Kenneth Hodges is a real estate agent. He says that he wanted to use extra time on his hands to help others. Hodges says that he hopes people realize they should do good deeds even when there is no health emergency. Truckers are working overtime to make sure that stores have products to put on shelves. Eddie Kadam spoke with a business owner who made sure a group of drivers didn't go hungry.
The road keeps going for truckers through the long haul that is coronavirus.
We just do our part. We're just trying to help out and do as much as we can to keep everything rolling.
As they pulled into the I-95 rest area in Savage, an unfamiliar and welcome sign.
If it wasn't for truckers, all the Walmarts, the Sam's Club, the Home Depots, Lowe's, grocery stores, none of them would be open right now. So it's probably hard for them to get a hot meal. So figure we come out and help them out.
2 hamburgers? Two Guys Grill created a fundraiser called Meals for 18 Wheels. They raised enough to make about 100 meals, a burger and tenders for one driver who drove from Oklahoma and is heading to Chicago.
Oh, did you really? Excellent. Yeah, we appreciate it, definitely.
Leaving a $20 tip that will mean 2 meals for his fellow drivers.
I have enough money to feed myself, and I just want to pay it forward, so I don't mind paying so somebody else can eat.
The short walk from their cabs over to the 2 Guys Grill food truck that's set up here is nothing for these guys. They're used to traveling across the country, long hours without their families. They don't feel appreciated most of the time, and seeing this small token means a lot to them.
It makes us feel like that we are out here doing something and not just, out here spending time away from family.
Honey mustard in there?
Yes, thank you.
A small token of love for our unsung heroes to fill their stomachs as they spend days and hundreds of miles away from home to keep all of our homes stocked up.
Just to my daughter, Lexi, I love you, and everybody else out there, I love you.
A DJ in Las Vegas is giving people the Sin City experience by going live on Instagram. So DJ Vice has been playing at clubs on the Strip for more than 15 years, and since we can't really travel right now, he is recreating the Vegas scene at home with his daily online show that is named Quarantunes.
I've gotten people from London to Nigeria. It's just a wild feeling to see everybody jump in these live streams and say, hey, I heard you at Marquee, or hey, I was at one of your Vegas gigs 10 years ago.
DJ Vice's online shows are every day at 8 p.m. Eastern. His Instagram handle is at DJ Vice. Now, there's a new mission for flowers that would have normally been sold, how they're bringing hope to heroes in these tough times. That story's next. And with so many people in need, the natural want to just go out there and help, how you can do so safely. Firefighter from Tennessee is helping his fellow first responders. He and a friend started Fire Department Coffee a few years back. They decided to help other first responders, firefighters, police officers, hospital workers. Well, they teamed up with a treatment center to send 300 pounds of coffee to 50 locations. And now first responders from Florida all the way to New Jersey have coffee to help get them through. Spring is typically peak business time for florists and landscapers, and in many cases, orders are down because of this outbreak. But Chris Conti is showing us how a campaign to spread hope to heroes is now blossoming in Boston.
Yep, keep coming.
Like a general commanding an army, Jan Goodman has found herself deploying the troops lately. 28 years as a florist in Massachusetts, and suddenly Jan has been planted in the most important role of her career.
Being strong, being optimistic, to say we're going to get through this together.
Landscapers and florists have been deemed essential workers. Problem is, in greenhouses and warehouses across the country, there are flowers whose time is about to pass. Florists are seeing orders canceled by the thousands.
It is a tough time, and we all recognize that, but we have to try and really try and see silver lining.
In this case, the lining is not silver, but orange and blue and purple and yellow.
We're hoping that people seeing those colors will just put a smile on their face.
Emily Berry is co-owner of a farm near Boston. She is part of that small army Jan Goodman has assembled.
We would love for people to enjoy the flowers rather than them just go to waste.
These flowers that were bound for a compost pile are being dispatched to the front lines of the coronavirus epidemic, quite literally. During perhaps some of this country's darkest days, flowers started appearing in front of Boston's hospitals. A bit of light for those battling the virus, a brief reprieve from the current situation. And most importantly, doctors, nurses, and staff can take these plants home.
Many of the flowers being donated are daffodils. Thousands of them were planted along the Boston Marathon route after the bombing in 2013 as a symbol of hope. The marathon was canceled this year, but the daffodils didn't get that memo.
Daffodils and signs of spring flowers is the hope that winter is finally over and spring is here and life is here. So that's why the daffodils symbolize, and all the spring flowering plants symbolize life, and that's what we have to keep remembering.
Thank you!
Thank you!
Over the next few weeks, daffodils and pansies and hydrangeas will continue to show up at hospitals across Boston. Jan is hoping other florists across the country will see what this is doing for first responders and coordinate similar efforts in their communities.
And if we can do anything to just say, hey, thank you, that's what the purpose is.
It's a sign of hope and renewal that there will be an end to this and we'll be able to resume life as we knew it before.
While there is no vaccine for COVID-19, these flowers are offering a prescription for hope.
It's going to be okay.
In Boston, I'm Chris Conti reporting.
All right, Chris, thank you. Now, we may be under stay-at-home orders, but there are still some ways to get a dose of social interaction while helping. Some organizations say they're seeing more volunteers come to help, and a way to help is just cleaning up trash. Volunteers say also their mental health benefits from cleaning up.
It's tremendously helpful for my mental well-being and physical well-being. It gets me out of the house. It gets me out of bed at a reasonable hour. It puts some routine in my day and gets me to socialize a little bit from a safe distance.
If you also want to help around your community, make sure to keep a safe distance from others and wear a mask and gloves. Crowdfunding campaigns are popping up during this time. Many of them share the same goal: help those who are on the front lines of fighting coronavirus. Others may also aim to help families affected by COVID-19. The Better Business Bureau says whatever is happening right now, scammers are paying attention.
Scammers are opportunists, and they will take advantage of whatever's going on in the news or in popular culture.
Now, while paying with a credit card usually provides more protection than a debit card, the BBB says don't count on that. If the fundraiser turns out to be fake, you should also look at crowdfunding sites' policies on financial protection.
Some of them offer more protection than others. Some of them have a guarantee that, if there is any kind of a fraudulent or questionable campaign, that you'll get your money back. Some don't distribute the money until the campaign has been completed.
The BBB advises you only to give to crowdfunding campaigns if you know the person behind them or if it's a legit organization. You can check whether a crowdfunding site or charity is legitimate on the BBB's website, give.org. Some people don't have their stimulus money yet because of how they filed their taxes. We'll explain why they may have to wait months to get that check. Welcome back to Coronavirus The Rundown. I'm Chris Stewart. Now, some people have not gotten their stimulus payment because of a direct deposit mix-up, while others have seen that money in their account. There is so much to break down with this, so let's turn to Alicia Nieves with what's next for them.
On March 27th, Congress passed the CARES Act.
The motion is adopted.
Which included stimulus check payments to more than 100 million Americans. The IRS started direct depositing those checks on April 9th. However, an oversight has resulted in some people having their money put in the wrong bank account.
Affecting the lowest income bracket in the country.
Edward Adams is a CPA in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. He has had about 1,000 clients that had their stimulus money go to a temporary account he set up when he last prepared their taxes.
Unfortunately, and when people apply for either an advance loan or to have the tax preparer take the fees out of their check, there's a temporary account that gets set up, and that temporary account is used really just for the refund payment. And then once the client gets the refund payment back in February or March, those accounts are closed.
This is common practice. Most tax preparers, including major chains like H&R Block, set up these temporary accounts.
The IRS, we had been told all the way up until Tuesday, they were not sending any money to those temporary accounts.
But on Wednesday, April 15th, when the IRS launched a site where people could check the status of their stimulus payments, many people learned their money, in fact, went to those accounts.
Wednesday was pretty much the bleakest day I've ever had in the office.
Adams had hundreds of clients calling him angry, thinking he had their money and was refusing to give it to them. But in fact, a third-party bank had it and rejected the money, sending it back to the IRS. Now, based on the latest guidance from the Internal Revenue Service, everyone who had their money rejected, you will be issued a check that will be mailed to the address the IRS has on file for you. It's estimated those checks could come as early as May or as late as September.
IRS commissioner, down the line, get a programmer to reprogram the website so that if the money is rejected by a direct deposit, allow people to go in and just re-enter, hey, money's come back, I need to re-enter a new address or a new direct deposit information, and that would speed up the process, plus save millions of dollars in postage.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Yeah, so many people going to be frustrated by that and certainly need that money sooner rather than later. Alicia, thank you. Now, we do turn to nursing homes, and that's a place that has really become a hot spot for this virus. But nursing homes are now required to report all coronavirus cases to the CDC, as well as the patient's family and others living in the home. Now, these new rules came out this weekend from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Now, the CMS says violators could be punished. Now, the reason that this story is making headlines is, until now, even though the virus has spread in several nursing homes, the CDC hasn't formally tracked cases inside these facilities. The CMS says nursing home cases will be part of the discussion about reopening the United States and will be part of contact tracing. Now, as some states announce plans to reopen, a bipartisan group from Congress is putting out a plan to reopen the economy. The things it says needs to happen before things can start to go back to normal.
Yours.
Welcome back. Some states are announcing plans to reopen their economies, and a bipartisan group hopes to help guide upcoming decisions. 50 House members have a plan to get America up and running again safely. Mass testing and better PPE supplies are atop its checklist. The plan also lists health and economic recovery priorities. The group hopes its plan influences future relief bills. Researchers say more people with COVID-19 never show symptoms. The CDC's official estimate is that a quarter of people with the virus won't show symptoms. Now it thinks that estimate is low. While it could be positive news for the death toll, experts worry it could mean more silent spread. They say better testing and more of it will help firm up the numbers. Drug company Novartis is testing the anti-malaria drug Hydroxychloroquine on 440 coronavirus patients in the U.S. to see if it helps. The FDA granted emergency permission for the trial. Novartis says it will report the results ASAP. And that's all the time we have today for Coronavirus The Rundown. We'll see you next time. I'm Chris Stewart. Thanks for joining us.